Best Podcast Ever is sponsored by the Gertzberg Law Firm, a full-service, award-winning business law firm in Cleveland and Chagrin Falls that appreciates what matters most to businesses: practical advice and cost-effective results. We understand your business because our team has the unique perspective of having real-world business experience themselves. Learn more at gertzberglaw.com. While you're there, be sure to check out Cover My Six, a proprietary legal audit that will identify, target, and minimize your business's exposure to lawsuits and government investigations. Go to covermysix.com to learn how you can prevent a lawsuit before it starts. Enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to listen to the best podcast ever recorded.
No, we're not looking for the transaction. We're looking for the relationship of a lifetime.
Hi, Molly Gebler.
Hi, Alex Gertzberg.
What's going on, dude?
Nothing.
I like your shirt.
Oh, thank you.
Griswold Family Christmas. Is that a reference to, other than obviously to Clark Griswold? Was it like a family reunion you guys had?
No. This is a shirt from Walmart.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, and it's the year I graduated, which I thought was fun.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
Interesting. I saw a side of my daughter this weekend that I've never seen. Now, it was an interesting side.
Okay.
Right? So Maya's 6, as you know, and our little neighbor girl, who is also 6 and also in her class, is moving to Florida, right? And they officially left on Sunday to drive down there, and they're in the same class. They ride the bus together. And they've seen this day coming, and they've only joked about it before. But on Saturday night, I saw Maya Gertzberg totally break down in sadness. Oh. She cried for 45 minutes about her losing her best friend. You know, it was one of those times where you see your child exhibit an emotion that you've just never seen before, you know?
And she may have never felt it before.
Yeah, it was so surreal. I couldn't believe it. And I was trying to summon all of the lessons that I have acquired over the years as a dad. I think on a different day, I would have tried to come up with reasons why everything's going to be fine, and how they're going to see each other all the time on FaceTime, and how she shouldn't worry about it because there's all these other good things. But lately, what I've been kind of experimenting with, but more like applying than experimenting, is creating space for them so that they're actually experiencing that sadness and noticing it and using words to explain it, you know? And so I sat there and just hugged her for like most of that 45 minutes. And we just, and I just let her cry and just said, I'm here, you know, talk to me if you want to talk to me about it, but if you want to cry, that's totally cool. Right. And then I was like, I get so sad when my friends leave, and I was just kind of trying to make her feel like it's totally fine, you know. But it was just such an extreme form of that longing and sadness, and I've just never seen that in her before. It was surreal.
It was probably new to her as well. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of being sad, I lost a friend, and I just want to use our avenue, our voice, our platform to say to everybody that you're just never alone. You aren't. And I know I don't understand depression and but there is always somebody that will listen to you. I don't care if it's the cashier at Target. If you are sad, you know, talk to somebody. It's never bad enough to end your life. It just never is. And my heart goes out to her family. I'm not going to say her name, but, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to make this podcast get too sad. Although there is one other sort of I don't know if loss is the right word, but we should let our
I have a big announcement.
We got a little announcement. That's right.
Big.
It is big.
It is big.
It is changing.
You seem to think it's little, but I think it's big.
No. I'm trying to minimize it to address my own sadness about it.
I think we should first tell Paul to pull over.
Yeah, Paul.
Paul, if you are listening, you may want to just pull over.
Or operating any heavy machinery or sharp knives.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have decided that I am going to retire from the Best Podcast Ever and do some other ventures.
Can we call it if we're going to have an honorary seat for you, Molly, which I think we will forever. I guess, retiring is still technically correct.
I think that's right.
Yeah, but can you, if you have an honorary...
It'll be the Best Podcast Ever with Alex.
Right. So you have to come back and be...
Those brand new mugs, Nellie, sorry. You're going to have to pen out
what if you
permanent marker the Molly part.
Oh, and the other thing too, Molly, is you've got aside from an open invitation to co-host, you should definitely, anytime you want to get information out about the chamber or events, or anytime you want to just come over and gripe about something or say something that's on your mind. The banter piece, I think, is always going to be, there's going to be a period before the guest comes that is just going to be...
Will you be bantering by yourself?
Shit, yeah, I am. I'm going to be talking to that seat as if you're sitting there. And you're not going to be able to talk back to me, but I'm going to pretend.
Excellent. No, it's been a fun 3 years, 100 episodes, and it's time to do some other things.
I'm going to miss you.
I'm going to miss you.
Our guests are going to miss you.
I'm going to miss everything. Yeah.
We had, I'm really so immensely proud that we did over 100 episodes together.
I know.
That's huge.
That's crazy.
It's ginormous.
And what a perfect episode to end it.
I know, with your
my husband. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Who, the first thing he will say, he will complain that there were 100 and he'll make up some number, 120 people that were more important before me, but we know that that's not true.
Yeah,
we have podcasts to prove that we have asked him to be on. So
yeah, he's fully aware of the news. Obviously, he is your husband. I assume that you have.
To be honest with you, I texted him I texted him and told him.
Is that right?
So I mean, I just threw the text out to you this morning.
I guess that's right.
So we don't really talk during the day that much.
Or at night for that?
To be honest, no. I mean, just because I'm usually home late and he goes to bed early.
How was that thing, that networking thing the other day? You know what happened?
Oh, it was really good at the chocolate. Buckeye chocolate. Wow. If you're looking for a couple last minute gifts, that's a good.
I love that
client
place.
Gifts or I
love that place. I'm extremely happy that we now have Heartwood and that they're located where they are.
Yes.
The only thing and they got great chocolate over there, but it's a good place to just go.
I mean, he brought a whole vat of melted chocolate out with fruits and stuff.
For the benefit of our guests, that's the Buckeye Coffee and Chocolate.
Buckeye Chocolate Cafe, it's called, right by Giant Eagle in Bainbridge.
So, to the proprietors of that place.
Bainbridge Township.
Yes. Yeah. To the proprietors of that place, I would make one suggestion. Eric, one suggestion to you, Eric. If you could somehow make, I go there and I work there a lot. And I sometimes just wish that there was some shrubbery outside. So it wasn't obvious that I was next to in a Giant Eagle parking lot. You know what I mean?
I see.
But the coffee is fantastic. The chocolate's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I do enjoy going there and working there.
Well, maybe he'll listen.
Put some shrubbery up.
He probably won't listen anymore because I won't be on, but maybe he'll listen.
I know. I wonder what our listenership is going to drop to. It's just going to be me and Nellie. And I wonder if my dad's going to listen. Do you think?
No.
I think
we should have told him to pull over.
I think we lost my dad here.
Well, we didn't want to announce it yet, but he and I are going to start our own show. So
I could totally see that.
That's coming soon. 2020. 2020. Gosh, that's like coming.
New
FYI.
decade. A new decade right now.
The roaring 20s.
And I was thinking about, how people are always like, gosh, this year just went super fast. I remember Y2K like it was yesterday.
Right? I was one of those terrified people.
I know. I bet you are. I was too.
Mm-hmm.
I was too.
Yeah.
But didn't that seem like that just happened?
Oh my gosh, my graduation,
Dude,
1989 seemed like it was just yesterday.
That's like half our life away.
Yeah.
So on Saturday night, I took Maya and her little girlfriend, who was leaving the next day, to Burntwood and then to get ice cream. And they both had a potty emergency while we were walking to the ice cream shop.
Popcorn shop?
Yeah, the popcorn shop. And it was like one of those, it's coming out.
Right.
We're going right now. So I look a few, probably another 30 steps to the crosswalk. I see that it's coming down 3, 2, 1. It's all the little white flashing dude turns into a red hand. No one's crossing. I grab them both. I see no cars. I jaywalk across the street. We get to the other side. You know that parking meter guy?
Yeah.
Right? That dude?
Yeah.
He says, hey, it would have been just another couple steps to get to the crosswalk. I go, hey man, this is a potty emergency. And I had to do it. I looked both ways, and he goes, I swear to God, he says this to me. He goes, well, what if what's more important, the potty emergency or them ending up a piece of the sidewalk? Right. And I'm still holding them, by the way.
Right,
they're still there.
right.
And he goes, don't you remember just a few years ago at that other crosswalk that actually happened? And I go, hey man, listen, you're right. I'm sorry. I got to get them into the flip side to go potty.
Now.
And then it was done. But yeah, it was a really intense conversation with the parking lot guy, which, now too, I'm thinking like he knows my car and he might have given me a break in the past, but
if all he would do is concentrate on jaywalkers, he would never write another ticket. I mean, it's nonstop. It's nonstop.
It is very I know it's very controversial on Village Block Hub, right?
Yes, it is.
I might have stoked the fire the other day.
Yeah, I should check to see if you're on it. Oh my gosh.
No, but like this was an emergency, and I didn't need to get lectured in that moment, you know, and not just lectured, but lectured like with like grotesque imagery.
Yes. Yes.
With
the kids.
With the kids standing right there, having to just about to pee themselves.
Yeah.
Oh
my goodness gracious.
Anyway, Molly, we have such a special guest today.
We do.
I'm really excited about this. It only took however many episodes we're on to get him on. But I have a plethora of questions for one Jon Gebler. Is there anything else that we should say about him before he walks in this room and starts talking?
I don't know. I think we just bring it all out when he comes. I mean, he's a wonderful man.
He is a wonderful man.
He's a wonderful husband, a wonderful father, and now grandpappy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not what we call him, though.
He has. I think that he has an infectious personality. It's all, every time I've ever interacted with him, I've always felt like happy, like I was having like a happy conversation with a happy dude.
Mm-hmm.
So let's have a happy conversation with a happy dude right now.
Sounds good.
Jon Gebler, you are married to Molly Gebler. True or false?
I am.
How, Molly?
23 years.
Yeah.
Wow. I was going to ask you that question, but then I thought, what if Jon doesn't know the answer and Molly gets mad?
No, he'll know
Molly
it.
doesn't know the answer.
He'll know it before I know.
23 years? Wow.
Only because he can do the math faster. Be like 1996 minus.
This year.
Yeah.
I can only imagine if I was a fly on the wall, and not the bedroom wall, right? But like if I was a fly in the kitchen wall, like some of the more stressful moments, like the kitchen, well, like if I was a fly on the kitchen wall when there was no kitchen, right? What those days would have been like. If you guys had to, in your 23 years of marriage, identify like those most memorable, like stressful moments, right? Do you think you guys would agree on what those are?
We've had so many.
All right.
Like every day is just another stressful moment.
Well, I was very sick.
The birth of Emily.
Emily was sick when she was born.
Oh, is that right? Did we talk about that before?
I don't know.
Molly had 13 operations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This sounds vaguely familiar. We must have talked about it a little bit.
I mean, it was 2 o'clock in the morning, 4 in the afternoon, Sunday, Tuesday.
Head off to Hillcrest.
It didn't matter. Matter of fact, they told us, Dr. Rocky told us how to sneak into Hillcrest because every time we went in, we were self-insured. We'd pay $500 on an emergency. And he said, don't do that. Gave us his home phone. When Emily was born, they had a sign put up in the...
it's going to be very hard for John because he talks with his hands.
Oh,
so.
I do. I always
That's
will.
okay. You can talk with your hands. Just don't go like this.
But no, but he's going like that.
But in the urology department or the radiology department, they put up a sign that said it's a girl, and everybody knew who it was. Just an amazing group, and so that was probably one of the most stressful.
So wait. So you were really sick after Emily was born?
Pregnant with Emily.
While you were pregnant with Emily.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, we have talked about this. That's right. That's right. That I can imagine being pretty stressful.
I mean, when we were changed the tube in Molly's back, Sam and I would make a joke or a game about it, like playing doctor the fun way. And we'd have to scrub up and put gloves on. And so not to make her afraid, we taught her how to do it and try to make it fun about it. But that's not fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, she had a tube that probably went 5-6 inches in the middle of her back for probably about a year, wasn't it?
After Emily was born now.
During and then
Emily.
after.
Yeah.
So, okay. What was the condition, if you can talk about it?
No, my ureter would keep closing and completely getting solid. Mm-hmm. So they would have to keep cutting my ureter to reopen it to be able to drain the kidney and the bladder. And I think at the end, they ended up having to flap my bladder to meet my ureter because my ureter was, I think my ureter was about this big on one side.
Yeah.
So the bag was draining my kidney because the ureter wasn't working.
That I can only imagine that to be a painful
super fun because you couldn't get the regular anesthesia that you would need because I was pregnant.
Yeah.
So
Right.
super. Okay, enough about that.
So John, our crack research department here at Best Podcast Ever uncovered some age-old, I mean, I wouldn't say they're compromising photos of you, but they're age-old. Have you seen this one recently?
That was my first graduation picture.
Did you graduate twice?
No. That my mom was mortified and said, go redo it.
Did she say...
Yeah, but this is in the yearbook.
Right. And then it got mixed up.
Did she say, John, why do you look like a mobster in this picture?
Well,
What year? What year?
Well, it was 83.
Okay.
My father died, and I grew up basically on my own. So, my brothers were kind of there and when they could be. And so it was a mild rebellion, I guess.
Well, your mother was there. She was.
It
was a lot.
She was working. And she had 5 kids to raise.
Yeah.
And
where did you guys? This was Chagrin, obviously.
Chagrin,
Where
right.
did you live when you were here?
We lived. My father built a house in Bentleyville, and if you want to know the great story to that,
Sure, we got time.
They moved up from Florida. They came in for Ohio Bell. They were working for Southern Bell, and they were looking at a house in Lake Lucerne. And so the realtor made them fill out a questionnaire. And one of the questions was religion. So kind of new. They didn't really know much about it, so they filled out Roman Catholic.
Wait, who asked this question?
The realtor. Now, this is back in like
when
early,
you could ask such
early
questions,
60s,
but
right.
Why was that?
Because they wanted to know the religion, because it was a WASP community
In Lake Lucerne.
and they would not sell a house to a Catholic. So they built a house in Bentleyville. That's how they ended up in Bentleyville.
Is that right?
That was, only in the 60s, so it
I
wasn't
wonder-
like a million years ago.
Do you think if he would have written like, clearly if he would have written like Jewish or Muslim, they'd have been like,
Oh, yeah.
they'd have been like, listen, you want to get to another part of town.
Jewish was not in Chagrin Falls
No.
either.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even show
But
you.
how
the house.
funny you were this close to being a Kenston person.
Oh,
Isn't that funny?
It is
no.
funny. That's
So wait, so keep going.
funny.
So he wrote,
So, that was it. They filled. They were not allowed to buy a house in Lake Lucerne
So they
because
bought
they
in
were
Bentleyville.
WASP. So they built in Bentleyville. Then he was going to build a house, and it was actually going to be right behind where Molly lived in Russell. And then my father passed away, and we ended up buying the house in Chagrin. And then now Molly and I live in South Russell. So.
that's fascinating.
But I mean, I've only lived here since I was 15, John. So that, I haven't lived here all my life.
I'd have.
Yeah.
This close to being a Kenston dude.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know.
How many people know this story, John? Because it seems to me,
It's a happy ending.
well, you can certainly say that serendipity intervened, right? So that you would be a Chagrin Falls dude. Now, let's get back to this
but if he
picture.
were a Kenston dude, he would be as obsessed. Like he
Yeah, I
would
think
just be a
that's true.
Kenston
I
dude.
think that's true.
Yeah.
Well, we dropped lunch off at the Bainbridge Police Department, and I told the new chief that for Christmas I was going to get him a Chagrin sweatshirt, and I won't tell you on air what he told me to do with it.
John, I have so many questions, all deriving from just this little 2-inch by 4-inch block
boy.
here. But I will say, folks, if you want to check the website right now, because I'm sure we have posted this picture, John, I would not mess with you.
He was a wrestler at this time.
Gosh,
And football, and
Yeah.
You were such a badass in this picture. My goodness, he's got this like this like mobster collar, this gangster like. I'm gonna mess you up so bad
it's
if I
totally
see you.
1970.
Well, it's 1983, but that's yes. It looks like it looks like it should be in The Outsiders. But let's go through this, John. I take the word Gebs to mean that was your nickname. Yes.
I don't think half the teachers or coaches of Chagrin knew my first name.
Okay.
I was just Gebs.
You were
That's
Gebs.
why if you purchase the Little Pumpkin book, the boy who takes the pumpkin from my book, on his varsity jacket, it says Gebs.
I also appreciate that. Do you know what you were named biggest? You were like they got most likely to succeed, and they got all that, and your 1983 senior yearbook name was biggest
Bullshitter.
bullshitter. That's right.
Yeah.
And why is that? You're not going to.
I don't know.
Oh, thank you, Molly. We do have follow up questions there.
Yeah, I mean.
You don't know, John. Come on. Who?
So when this was, when I volunteered for this, I didn't realize it was an inquisition.
It's an interview. It's an interview.
All I could say from my attorney was from 12 to at that time 18, I literally was on my own. Boy, would my life have been different if my father was still around.
And you, where are you in the sibling pecking order?
Second youngest.
Second youngest?
Right.
And adopted.
And adopted.
Out of all the 5, he's the only one.
Oh,
that
you
was
were the only one that
adopted.
was adopted.
Right.
How did your adoption affect your relationship with your siblings? Like, were you accepted easily, or were you?
It was probably more me, Alex, than it was them. You know, I didn't look like them. I would always joke with my mom that she could have picked a little better.
You were 9 months. They didn't know what you were going to look like.
I'm olive skin, brown eyes, dark hair, and they're all blue-eyed, light skin, light hair. She could have picked a little closer. Yeah.
So we just got done harassing one of our prior guests about his adoption story. So I will defer to you how much you want to talk about it, but like to the extent that you're willing to share, do you say you were 9 months,
right?
Do you know much about your real parents at all, or do you
only from what we were able to a few years ago get a social and medical record from Cuyahoga County, and so they sent us to it, and they highlighted out all the pertinent information. But it was...
That's called redacted in the law world, yeah.
But what they did is they sent us the original copy, so Molly was able to take her fingernails and scratch off the highlighted areas.
Scratch off the whiteout.
You know, you really got to hand it to the Department of Health and Family Services.
So it was fun. It was fun getting to know, and then Molly found her. Then all of a sudden it didn't become fun anymore. Reality really hit us, and I told her to let's slow down. My mom was alive, and it was just a little too close.
So you didn't interact with her?
No,
you didn't. Okay,
no. Now we're trying to just find her again, and we
found a cousin that we talked to.
Because I have a sister, and I'd be more interested to talk to a half sister. I'd like to be more to talk to that, because Emily is the first thing in my life that I'm related to,
that you know,
biological to, so that I know of. Right.
Yeah. A minute ago, you said it stopped getting fun. Is that because you were torn between confronting your biological mother and not?
Absolutely.
So what made you decide not to?
I guess because my mother was still alive, and she was still my mother. I mean, it was, and the fact that, everybody who is adopted always has this grand vision that, a limo's going to pull up and you're king of some island. And, but the truth of it is she was 16 and she ran away from home, and she probably met some drunk idiot in New York and got pregnant and came back and had me and put me up for adoption. And so the last thing I wanted to do was, Molly and I started building a great life with us, and we started having great, beautiful children. And the last thing I needed was somebody to come up to us and tell us that now she's the grandmother, or she needed something, or she wants something. The reality is it's probably the opposite of the dream, and we just didn't want anybody to interfere with our family. The grandparents was my mom and Molly's mother, and we just didn't want to. I didn't want to interfere with any of that.
I would be tormented by it too.
So
so many questions that you just don't have the answer to, and you want to ask, but you feel like you can't. That would torment me. And gosh, come on, Department of Adoption. What the hell?
He found out his name, his born name,
where she went to high school,
her birthday, where she went to high school. Although we weren't sure about the high school, It began. They lived in the Shaker Heights area, and it did begin with an S, and so I of course assumed Shaker Heights High School. But I went there to look to see if I could just find a picture of her, and she wasn't in the yearbooks that I looked at.
But she was 16 too. So that's that, a sophomore, junior?
Yeah, but she would have been in there freshman and sophomore. I looked through all 4 years. So, so then was it a saint something? Because they were Catholic. So was the school a saint? So, and I mean, down in Shaker Heights area, there was a zillion Catholic.
But it was a great story. And plus, it was a great story. She really fought to keep me. The court was the one who said no.
I don't understand. Wait.
She was paying for Jon. So they took Jon away, and she was maintaining, he was in foster care.
Right.
She was maintaining payments and regular visits. And she actually went and got married at 18 or something. Or no, that can't be right. But she went and got married and went back to the courts and said, okay, I'm stable now, I'm married. And they still said, no, you're not. Yeah, I mean, all their visits are recorded.
As an alcoholic who ended up dying.
Yeah, she got hit. And that was another thing that we tried to find that. She got hit by a car leaving a bar like a block from her house. We knew where the house was, so I checked records to see if I could find the obituary, and I couldn't, because that would be his grandma. Couldn't find anything about that either, so
it was fun, Alex.
Maybe the joke was on us from the.
Aren't you glad that I'm opening up that wound right now, John?
You talked.
But then once once Molly found her and she was living in Chicago, and then I just needed to stop.
I'm so moved by this. I don't know where to go from it. But it's like I have so many other questions, but we're going to spend all day on it. I guess the only other question I would have on it, though, is if you, like, are you glad that you know what you know? Or if you could go back and not scratch off that thing, if you could unknow what you now know, would you unknow it?
No, I think if I could go back, I would have pursued it a little bit farther.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But again, with me in control.
Yeah.
Not her.
Got it.
Not her, not my biological sister, not just, because I always grew up knowing that I was on the outside. It's just, it's a natural thought. You got 4 biological children that all look alike, act alike. I mean, even today, my nephews look like my dad, they all look alike. And, boy, I'm just...
So I'm sorry. You have spent time with your biological sister?
No, that's one. That's what I would really like to find out.
That's one that would be a little harder.
But hold on, you just said your nephews all look like your dad.
Oh, my adopted family. Oh, I mean, the whole family looks like each other. I don't.
Got it.
His half sister, when she got married, she had another baby, and then ended up leaving that baby with the babysitter and never coming back. So,
you're talking about my mother?
Correct.
So she got married so she could keep me, and who she married to, she got pregnant to, and then when the court said no, then she left that.
And so that baby probably was adopted, and that name was probably changed. That would be a little harder, but.
I have to tell you, I used to grow up thinking, man, everyone else's family is so screwed up. Everyone's got so much drama in it. This weekend, I swear, every single member of my family seemed like an alien. Like there was just so much drama and so much just unnecessary, like, aggressiveness is too strong a word, but like just contentiousness.
Ooh, what's going on at the Gertzbergs?
There's just like, I don't know. The older I get, the more I look at my family like we're the weird ones and everyone else is normal. Like just
me too. That's why I told Molly's mother if we ever got divorced, it would never work because I'm moving in with her.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I fit in better and got along better with Molly's family than I do my own. I mean, I can't stand, with the exception of my oldest brother, being in any amount of time with anybody else in my family.
Wow.
I mean, it's just but it's the way they are, though. Yeah. It's not who we are. But I was, I got to tell you that for as bad as it could have been, and bad as I could have rebelled, and as bad as that thing could have been, I wasn't that bad.
It's because you found me.
Yeah. Well, that was the best thing that ever happened.
You tempered him.
So to go back to the original question about the worst things, we were typical people, and there was nothing that we didn't overcome. We're just, it just.
And still,
we still have issues. We still have complications and problems, and still just, we'll figure it out, man. Father John said to us the day we were married, my job is to get Molly into heaven. Her job is to get me into heaven. And that's a pretty strong statement, and that's what we're doing.
I heard a really good quote the other day. Annie Lamott, who wrote this great book called Bird by Bird, she wrote that the goal in every marriage is for each side to think that they got the best deal out of the two, right? For each.
Well, it
each
didn't work
spouse.
that way, because she knows that I got the best deal.
You guys both agree on that?
Oh yeah, we do.
All right.
Well, except for my brother Mark is just an incredible person. He is. Whenever something was needed, he's the first one I call. When we had a water spout going off in the middle of our kitchen, he was there within 2 minutes. He redid. And he only does it because he just wants to stay involved and be involved in our lives. He called me the other day, and I don't know if I even told you, just to tell me that he misses our Fridays because we do varsity stats together. So, and even though we live 2 seconds away from each other, it's the only time we really see each other. And, that's just a good brother. Plus, he was the one who did raise me growing up. While he could, he was also raising his family, and Scott was born. And so it was tough for him, but he was the only one that was ever there for me. So,
yeah.
So,
you grew up in Chagrin. You live in Chagrin now. Have you stayed in Chagrin the entire time in between?
We bought my mother-in-law's house in Wycliffe. Beautiful century home. Loved it when we first moved in. It was a great community. Put a beautiful, beautiful addition on the house, doubled the size, just made, oh my gosh, it was the bedroom.
That was super fun.
Oh, yeah. But, and then coming over that too, So, Molly and I are we're the break-even people. It's we don't get ahead in life, but we never get hurt in life. If IRS came and taxed us $10,000, there'd be a $10,000 reward for us for someone. If we got in an accident, we owe $10,000, then I'd get a $10,000 bonus. It's just one of those things. So it's not a bad life. But we built a beautiful addition, and then the schools went to crap. And after about 2 years, and it wasn't going to change, and Wycliffe schools weren't going to change, I finally convinced Molly it was time to move home. Talk about rough time in life. We bought the house in Chagrin in April of 2006. And what happened in May of 2006?
The real estate market
crashed. We double mortgaged for 18 months,
which we never should have. We never should have gotten the second mortgage.
They should never even have.
Well, you and
Wells
everyone
Fargo.
else,
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So talk about financial hurting. But we've also said now that it's all said and done, Samantha would never be where she is if wasn't given that Chagrin education and that opportunity. Where she went as a straight A student doing absolutely nothing at Wycliffe to an average student working her ass off at Chagrin made her where she is. So when she went to Dayton and graduated cum laude, when she went to Johns Hopkins and graduated cum laude, where she is now at Ursuline and graduating probably magna cum laude, she's a 4.0 there. It is all because of why we made the move that we did.
Yeah.
So,
and Emily, of course.
Well, Sam is the one who will freak out about that she won't pass this test. Won't pass it. Has to study more, has to study harder, and she'll get a A+ out of it. Emily will just lackadaisically go through life and do whatever she needs to do, and then the day of the test, she might open up a book, and then she'll ace the class. It's just the two different people. My sister-in-law picked her up for church or for school one day when we were out of town, and was freaking out that Emily had this huge project to do, and she's in the car on the way to the high school finishing the project, and she gets an A out of it. I mean, that's just the way she is. That's just this.
Yeah. At what point does Jon Gebler start getting into cars and fixing them enough to?
Never. I don't know how to fix a car. I know nothing about cars. It's not what I intended. It's not what I wanted. It's. I would never have believed in it. It's when we first started getting, Emily was coming around, and I needed to find the quickest, best job that had the best pay. And we had a friend of ours who was president of Mueller Tire and Brake and said, "Hey, you got to come work for me," and hired me in to run one of his stores. And I had to go to the library and figure out how to just talk the lingo, because I didn't know what I was even saying. Somebody said to me one time, "If you call this tire a wheel one more time." And so I knew that I had to just talk it. So I knew how to take care of people. I knew how to treat people, and I knew how to sell, but I didn't know anything about cars. 25 years later, I still don't know anything about cars.
Well, you know a little something about cars.
I wouldn't be able to fix your car, Alex.
Really? You are the service manager at Highway Garage and Auto Body Center. I gotta believe you're not giving yourself enough credit. That's what I
hire people around me that make me look good. I mean, that's what I mean for Mueller and Conrad's, and now this great company off Highway. Thanks for mentioning them. Is just it's a great opportunity. I just know people.
Well, here, I think you're not giving yourself nearly enough credit. I think that you know plenty about cars, and I always appreciate some good old-fashioned modesty, Jon.
Alex, I could not do brakes on your car if you wanted me to. I couldn't. I don't know anything about them. That's not my. I know business. I know how to run a business.
All right, which arguably is the most important thing, right? Yeah, and I think you're right. I think that having,
he has techs for all of that. He manages the service department,
and I've been very happy, very blessed over the many, many years to have the right people in the right places in the right positions.
Right. That
we ran some of the best. I mean, I didn't realize until Mueller Tire and Brake sold that I was running the third largest retail facility east of the Mississippi River.
Wow. Until
Tire Kingdom came out, and then the numbers were able to see it. We didn't know. I mean, we were running $2.8 million 20 years ago, and I had no idea. We just knew how to take care of people and give them what they needed.
Yeah. I definitely had that. Well, you've taken care of me a number of times, and I've definitely felt that you were, you understood not just the situation, but the stress I was under when, whenever I brought my car over there, and you handled it very well and in my favor every time, which I always appreciated. Service manager at Highway Garage and Auto Body Center. You've been doing that for like a couple months.
I have since mid-August, actually.
Yeah. That place is like iconic. I mean, you drive down Washington, you see this like
White
it's like
House.
A colonial looking, not a colonial. It looks like a plantation from the
White
South.
House.
Yeah, yeah. Well, do you know what that was before it was Highway?
It was nothing. It was built that way.
Frank
Is that
built
right?
It to look like that, yeah.
Wow, it's fascinating.
Yeah, it was a little garage.
It was.
And then
he made it look like the White House with a little brick on it. Do you like working there?
I do.
Seems like a good
owner of Highway is I was introduced by Molly, who met Chad and said, "You two got to meet." Chad and I have had our moments but that's businessmen going after the same business and bumping heads. No, the bottom line is I see a grand opening in what we're able to do in this place. And the fact that Chad's allowing me to do it is just crazy, because he really didn't know much about me when he first hired me. But he knew my results and he saw my numbers, and we just went from there. So I'm so excited to what's coming up next year, and we made a lot of changes and a lot of moves, and we're fighting the old regime, and now we're just ready to make this thing go. So
Cool.
we're all excited. We're all on the same page and all excited to go.
Awesome. How big a place is that, like people-wise? How many employees?
We have, it's split. Half the building is body work. The other half is repair. And on the repair side, we have 6, which I'll probably get to 7, possibly 8 by the end of the first quarter.
What could somebody expect when coming to Highway Garage?
Well, it's unique. It is, first of all, it does not, like you said, it does not look like a repair facility. And even when you walk inside, it does not look like a repair facility. When I brought Goodyear into the mix and I went through Goodyear National, one of the things they wanted to do was bring all their paraphernalia. And I said, guys, I'm not putting it up here. This thing is not it's not a typical service garage. It's just a very professional building and professional look. So what they walk into is, first of all, the cleanest place they've ever seen, and it's important. We want to. It was a place that I would want to bring my car to work. Some of these places that you come in and they're just filthy and dirty, and it's just not that way. We have the best, most competent technicians that I've ever worked with. One guy is actually a Mensa member.
Is that right?
And he's actually our master tech. And when he talks to you, it just talks way over your head. So I pick up like every third word, and I'm like, good. So I know where to take it from there. And then we brought in, and then when Chad just let me go, I lowered prices across the board and got us into a competitive mode. So now we have the cleanest shop. We have the most competent techs. We have prices that you're going to make anywhere else that you go. And then when you add in the trust and the honesty and the integrity that Chad and myself bring to this group is it's just a place second to none. Now our job is to promote it, get the word out, and and as simple as that sounds, that's the hardest thing right now.
Frank's owned it for a long time.
Long time.
Frank Lanza, is that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There was
and he did a great job with it. At the end, he kind of struggled with it. He needed to sell it. He did the right thing at the right time. Now we're fighting that end year. And
was that this year that he sold it?
Last year.
Yeah.
This was Chad's. He just celebrated his first.
Sold
year.
it to Chad.
Right.
I will tell you what I've always worried about whenever I took my car to the mechanic is whether I could trust him. And the problem is that, like the practice of law, as I imagine our clients think of, like when I go to the doctor, there is somebody in the room that has superior knowledge to the other person, right? And so I bring my car in and I hand my baby over and then I get an estimate, and I have no idea. If I'm getting overcharged or if the dude's being honest with me. And so what I generally do is say, you know what? There's a guy down the street. He's going to be expensive, but I know he ain't lying to me. Do you get a sense after a few months of working there that the relationship between Highway and its customers, it has that sort of sense of honesty and trust?
I don't know how to answer that.
Well, I mean, I think the way to answer that is the people that have reached out to me in my office, have called the chamber office trying to find Jon, who have reached out to me on Facebook trying to find Jon.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
because they trust
that they've had.
No, I like Molly's answer because it's hard for you.
No, because they've trusted you so much. That
as far as me, yeah, it's
they've left. You know, they want to follow him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy that they call the chamber office just trying to find me because I tried to do the right thing when I left Conrad's. I didn't take any of the papers or any of the names of the customers, and I didn't start making phone calls and telling everybody I was leaving.
Yeah, you weren't telling people that when they were
No,
in.
I quietly just put my 2 weeks in and left. And so I try to do the right thing. The response of coming is just incredible. And that they would even call the chamber looking for me. I mean, and one person called and said, look, you don't know who I am, and I'm sorry to bother you, but I'm trying to find your husband. And I mean, didn't know where I went, or I mean, that's just, it's
Well, I think that goes to what I was saying, that your relationships do matter.
You want to follow an honest mechanic.
Exactly right.
And I think it's funny because I'll get people that'll say, oh, I went to see your husband today, and he ended up telling me I don't even need tires. And they're holding an estimate for $1,200 or $4,000 or whatever from the person that they went to prior, saying, they said I needed tires. Yeah. So John would be the first one to tell you what you don't need too.
That was my experience at Conrad's. Yeah, I remember going there thinking I'm about to drop $2,000,
right?
Because of a freaking nail in the sidewall. Yeah. And John was like, "Yeah, man, no, we got you. This is
And there was a lovely post from Kim McCune today.
I saw that you posted it.
She's been doing my job for me. Basically, 6 days of shopping small, and there was a nice shot.
As far as talking business and with me is, I am who I am.
Popeye.
Well, yeah, I am. I'm nobody different. I'm nobody special. I will stand behind everything and anything. I will make the transition or the process as easy as I possibly can. I mean, if you need my car, take my car. If you can't stick around, then we'll get you home. I mean, I just, it's just important to me that, Chad Kane was the one who also said, we're not looking for the transaction. We're looking for the relationship of a lifetime.
Right.
And then that's what I've done. That's what I've created.
I mean, that is, honestly, that's the lesson for every business person that walks into my door over here, right? Either I will hear it from them or I will counsel them on that. That's the right way to run a business.
I mean, of course it is, Alex. Look at you, man. I mean, how many times, you and Molly have a great relationship, but
not anymore. We're breaking up.
Yeah, I heard.
It's not true.
How are you going to do that?
I mean, it is true, but we're not really breaking up.
But, we don't know each other all that well, but you've always treated me like family.
Oh, thanks, John.
Man, you've always treated me like a brother. And
do you want me to walk out of the room and let you guys have a minute?
Bro hug.
I'm surprised you haven't asked about my heritage yet, but
yeah, he's Jewish like you, Mazel.
I didn't know we were allowed to talk about that.
I didn't know either, man. But we're bringing it up.
I'm okay.
Is that
with
true?
It.
You're a member of the tribe, John.
I'm still fighting it because
he spit in a cup.
Don't fight.
And
I'm. It's not. I have.
Did you ask Father Damien if that's okay? If we could celebrate Hanukkah this year?
I am a Eucharistic minister of the Catholic Church, and I will always be part of the Catholic Church.
You know what? I'm surprised the girls haven't stepped forward and asked where their Hanukkah gifts are.
Just a second. Did you say you're a Eucharistic minister of the Catholic Church?
I am.
What is that?
I'm allowed to dispense the body and blood of Christ.
Is that right?
I am,
and you get to do that even if you're biologically Jewish.
Okay, stop it, Molly.
We need to do a backstory here. So we got John the 23andMe test because he's adopted, and all he knew about was in the paperwork we received. It said that your dad, who she had the overnight fling in New York, was Italian, a handsome Italian man, was right. All the paperwork said that we got back from the county. That was all there was no name because on the dad.
That's what Mom told the adoption agency, that he was
correct. That's what
dad was a
biological mom said. Actually, she didn't even, right. Yeah. This was, yes, correct.
Okay. Alex, I would be so proud to be a part of your membership.
Up here, John.
But
We're proud
but
of having
I am a very proud Catholic.
It's the same kind. It's the
Kenston Chagrin.
No, the Jewish. It's the Mazarati. It's not Mazarati, but
Ashkenazi.
yes.
Mazarati?
Well, that's pretty close. He got it. He got
The
it.
Lamborghini Jews.
Yeah. No, we're the Mazarati
Molly,
Jews.
I'm so going to miss that part of this podcast from now on when you mispronounce words.
I did mispronounce it. I knew what I wanted.
You didn't
to
just say Maserati Jews?
I did. No, I said it sounds like Maserati.
Okay.
And I knew you would take it there. You would get what I was going for.
Lord.
Yeah, and isn't that your tribe? Is it called a
Are
tribe?
you allowed to say tribe?
Dude, I say whatever I want, John.
I know.
This is our show.
That's why I love you, Alex.
It's my last show.
John, you're probably a better Jew than I am, buddy. I mean, I'm not very observant. All right, listen, kids, we've learned a lot today. We're going to take a short break. Daddy's going to go potty, and we're going to come right back. Hey, folks, Alex Gertzberg here. I'm CEO of the Gertzberg Law Firm and Cover My Six, and I wanted to share with you something we figured out long ago. The biggest value lawyers can give their clients is not getting them out of trouble. It's helping them avoid emergencies before they blow up. That's what Cover My Six is all about. To help you see why we're so confident in this audit, we're offering a no-cost, no-obligation business vulnerability assessment. My business lawyers will meet with you in person and go over your customer contracts, your employee handbooks, and other key legal documents, and identify any legal minefields they see. We'll also give you guidance on how to stop those minefields from destroying your business. We know lawsuits cost businesses far more than money, but we also know that most of them are entirely preventable, and we know how to stop them before they start. Go to covermysix.com to see if you qualify and sign up today. Thanks, and enjoy the rest of the show. And we're back. Can I say something, Molly, before I forget?
Sure.
One of the things that I really love, and I'll say this in front of your husband, I don't care. Mm-hmm. One of the things I really love about about our journey together on this podcast is that in most weeks, once a week, I had a little date with you.
Yeah.
This was our, you know, like we got to hang out for like an hour, for 2 hours once a week.
Probably more time than I've spent with John.
Alex, you are in a long line.
What? This is going nowhere where I thought it was going to, John.
No. You know,
a long line of people who spend time with your wife, you're saying?
Oh, sure.
You mean that in a platonic way, as I meant it.
I mean, she is the most sincere, honest. You know, for as great as everybody who knows her is as a chamber member and with the fire department and with you, Alex, and she has been an incredible first mother. You ever meet great kids? And I hate to say it to you, Alex, but there's always exceptions to the rule. But you ever meet great kids? There's a great mother behind them.
Yeah.
And it's truly the fact. And I couldn't imagine, who knows, my life might still be like that senior picture if it wasn't for her.
Yeah. Well, here, I mean, I have felt like I have been tracking the major life events of the Gertzberg Gebler household for the last several years now, 1 week at a time. Mm-hmm. You know, incremental moments at a time, you know, I mean, I hope, Molly, that although we will be parting ways on this podcast, that we still have date night.
Okay.
Somehow.
All right.
John, is that cool?
If you're
Alex,
paying, I'm coming.
Alex, she loves you. She cares so much about you. You know, she's a grandma now, so that, you know, you got to understand that takes precedence at all.
You don't love me as much as your grandkids? This is bullshit.
I don't think she loves me as much as her grandkids.
It's just a different kind of love, boys. Just calm down.
But you got to understand, when she walks in that room and the looks on those babies' faces.
I can imagine.
Oh my gosh, it's it's speechless.
I can't wait for the summer concert series to start so I can
know.
see them again.
Oh my gosh.
It's Brooklyn cheering when I get home.
Yeah.
Is how they cheer when Molly walks in the room.
I got a big Jenga set that we're gonna shellac our logo, your logo, and our logo on.
Jenga,
like Jenga.
Yeah, no. Oh, for the thing.
For the concert series. Yes.
We got to talk. That's a brilliant idea.
I bought it. It was at Aldi's for $30.
Let's keep talking. I got other ideas. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
She's gonna stop that.
Speaking of ideas and love, John, are you ready for the for the lightning round?
I am.
Good.
Did you listen to an episode to know what the lightning?
But I saw the notes.
Oh, do we give them the questions?
We expect them to listen to the podcast.
Right.
Oh, no. Is it the same questions?
Generally the same ones each time.
Okay.
I will be very curious to see if John says, how many years of marriage?
20. Say it.
23.
Okay.
How about I write? I'll write down what I think the answer
let's
should
play
be.
that game.
Okay, I love that.
This will be the newlywed game
In the butt, Bob.
yeah. Do you remember that?
What movie was that?
That was
What was the weirdest
The
place you ever
newlywed-
had? You ever had whoopee? That must be up the butt, Bob.
What movie was that?
It was the
It was
newlywed
the
game.
newlywed game.
That was a real thing.
Yeah.
That was.
And he meant like in the garage or in the closet.
No, but I thought I saw that in a movie. Okay.
I mean,
Oh, it
maybe.
probably was.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure it has been.
This is a
Yeah.
real episode. All right. So John, I'm going to ask you. Well, Molly, your questions
My
are
questions
first.
are first,
Ooh, can
yes.
I? Okay, never mind. Molly, why don't you go ahead with your questions?
Okay.
But don't answer too quickly because
Right,
you got to
'cause
give
I'm
Molly
right.
a chance to. Wait. Let's come up with. Let's raise the stakes here. So there's probably like 10 lightning round questions. How many of these is Molly going to get right? Let's say if Molly gets half of them right.
Oh, no, she'll do better than that.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. If Molly gets at least half right, then the Gertzberg Law Firm will donate $100 to the Valley Arts Center. What do you think about that, Molly?
I love that. Will you do that
okay.
just regardless?
If you
because she'll call bullshit and
that's
and
not
then she'll
allowed.
and then she'll correct me and I'm like, oh, okay, that's right.
And I will challenge everyone else listening along that if I donate $100 to the Valley Arts Center, you guys donate like $10 a piece. Okay, we're gonna raise some money and we're gonna do it in honor of Mary Ann's son.
Yeah,
Ben Breisch. Is it Breisch? Mm-hmm. All right. So, who passed away this weekend? So we will honor him by doing this charity.
Oh, really?
For in his honor, and all you have to do, Molly, is get at least half of these right. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead, Molly.
Okay, John. What are you binging? Like on TV, what are you watching a lot? Like binging.
Am I supposed to answer? And
Yeah.
write
Because
it
I've
down?
already written it
Here's a
down.
pencil that works, Molly.
Thank you.
Oh.
But I already wrote it down.
Oh my gosh, it's the best. Cheers.
Cheers.
Where's is that? That's the first one.
Yeah.
Nice job. That's one for the
All
one for the good guys.
right.
Hey, before have you watched on Netflix The Irishman?
I'm halfway through it.
What do you think?
I love it.
It's amazing, right?
It is.
Gosh, it's crazy because you know how it's going to end with Jimmy Hoffa, and yet it's so climactic. It's so like intense as you
I
get
keep
closer to
watching
it.
for Molly's uncle to pop in there.
What's his name? He might.
No names.
No names.
Yeah, no
That's a good
names.
idea. Dude, that movie is amazing. I loved it. I loved
That
I want to watch it again. Molly, what are you binging?
I'm Hallmark, remember?
Are you still? It's still that time
Not
of year.
until Christmas is over. Yeah. But I can't watch Hallmark, so I'm really Lifetime Christmas shows.
Yeah.
Because we broke up the cable, so I don't have Hallmark Channel.
So it's the city girl that moves into the country and
Her name is Holly.
Is this the Hallmark Channel show that you're
They're all
watching
the
right
same.
now?
Well, they're all the
the
same.
same.
They're all the same. Oh,
Oh, stop.
Jon Gebler, you
Stop.
know what I'm going to say. That's
John,
right.
John, cut this out.
What?
I caught John watching a couple. Like
Hallmark?
I would go to press, like when you find it, normally it would say play, but it would say resume. Like busted.
Hold on, just a second, everyone. Let's take
John Doherty, cut this out.
No. Listen,
No, do not.
John Gebler, there's no shame. Yes, there is in watching Hallmark episodes when you're a man getting into his upper years and you're. No, I'm just joking. Look, I'm not going to judge you, John. You want to watch Hallmark? Watch Hallmark.
Hey, those college years are long.
Go ahead, Mom.
Okay. Thank you, Alex. This is my last lightning round.
Take your time.
Okay. Your perfect day, and I feel like as long as I have something of his perfect day, I feel confident about it.
Oh, my perfect day. I mean, if I get really specific, is it going to make you nervous?
No.
Only if it involves other women.
As long as you say what I wrote down, you're fine.
Great.
No pressure, John. Get this right.
I
But
wake
you
up
will.
and go have breakfast on my deck that's on the boardwalk. Go and work out, and then go down to the beach, lay on the beach, and come back, shower, and then go to the bar and drink, and that's it.
I have on the beach. I feel I get that.
We'll give that to you. Judges, ding, 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 ding. Wait, which bar? What's your bar?
Anything that's boardwalk and open.
Hold on a second. What boardwalk are we talking about right now?
He's obviously moving on his perfect day.
Ocean City Marina.
Oh, all right. I thought we were talking about like the Chagrin Falls area.
No, it could be.
Okay.
It could be Long Beach Island, New Jersey.
Okay.
But they don't have a boardwalk though.
Okay, got it. On the beach, boardwalk. Now I understand. A weird part of me thought that in your neighborhood they have a beach. Like Lake Lucerne's got a beach, you know?
Oh, they do.
Well, so I thought that's what he was talking about.
Oh, no.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, and then can I also mention that as a Catholic, that I just found out not that long ago that my wife wants to retire where it's cold and miserable. And I didn't really realize that and know that, so I think
I didn't realize you were Jewish when I married you.
I think that's grounds for an annulment,
Yeah. Same here.
not a divorce, where the church allows.
And you did know that I don't like the beach and
Oh
I
my
want to be in the
gosh.
cold. And speaking of cold, this weather is bullshit out there right
it's like
now.
50 degrees out.
Well, that just means it's going to be longer of a winter.
Not necessarily.
Wouldn't you just rather have it right now during the holiday season?
I see you getting worked up over
I'm
here.
all
She
worked
is.
up. I
She
mean,
is.
I will say the village was hopping today.
Yeah, it was.
There were just hundreds of people, but still. Okay.
Wait. Hang on a second. Lost my train of thought. Go ahead, Molly.
Okay. John, what's on your mind?
What's on my mind right now?
And I want you to be honest. You don't have to go into detail, but I want you to be honest so I can get it right.
See, now those are those catch-22s that I find myself
What
always slipping behind.
What do you can't sleep about? And you could just
Oh,
use the generic word.
Work.
She wrote down work.
I mean, here, I love where I'm at. I'm happy where I'm at. The one thing that I have been, and I might not have been great at anything else, but I've been able to provide. And I walked away this year, the last 3 months, including the year-end bonus, I probably walked away from.
We don't need to say a number.
Well, yeah, it's a large number.
Okay.
But I see the big picture. I really do.
Got it. Molly?
Don't have my answer for this one yet.
But I was going to say,
Oh,
what's on my mind is man, this is fun, guys.
Before Molly force fed you.
Yeah, right.
You better.
guided.
This is fun. I'm so glad you asked me, and I didn't realize this was going to be Molly's last one. And but man, you guys are awesome.
This is fun.
This is a lot of
Thanks,
fun.
John.
Thank you.
I don't think this is Molly's last one. So
I don't think so
yeah.
either.
Okay. Guilty pleasure.
I don't have any.
If your daughters were answering, if I was answering, what would it be?
Oh, for the love of God, dude. John Doherty, take this off.
Hallmark TV shows?
You talking about the movie? I like a movie. I like a movie, and they just refused.
And I think that went chick flicks. John likes chick flicks.
You like chick flicks?
It's got to be a specific kind. All right. First of all, it's got to be like a stud that
You like the rom-coms?
Yeah, that picks up like the no name girl and makes her somebody. You know, it's got to be a specific type of
John, you sit before us like 250 pounds, 6 foot something, stacked like a brick shithouse. And you admitting to us here today on this day that you like rom-coms doesn't change how I feel about you one bit. Not one bit. You are just as manly now as you were a minute ago.
Well, let's see what the other 6 questions are.
Yeah, I was going to say.
All right.
Okay, I think I'm good.
You're betting 1,000 so far, Molly.
Thank
okay,
you.
we got to keep going. You got to.
I think that I'm done with mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
John, you are shipwrecked on a desert island, stranded for a minimum of 3 months, possibly for the rest of your natural-born life.
Oh, first of all, we're on the right track.
You may be. I thought he was about to say this feels like my marriage. John, you may bring with you on this desert island any single musician's entire discography. Who is the musician?
Come on, you'll never get that right.
I have what it should be.
Well, first of all, it would not be anything out of the 80s.
Ooh, okay.
Love the 80s.
It would not be anything from the 80s?
Out of the 80s.
It would not be?
I mean, like
you just said it wouldn't be out of the 80s. I love the 80s.
Right.
I feel like we're really poisoning the jury here, Molly.
Of the 80s?
No, it would not be out of the 80s.
You want to change your answer,
Did I
Molly?
change that?
I'm not going to change my answer.
Objection, Your Honor.
Because I know it's the right
Your
one.
Honor.
Well, I have so many favorites, but if I was stranded and I wanted to keep my Cleveland ties, I guess it would be MSB.
I had Neil Diamond or Barry Manilow.
Okay.
Oh, well, see now.
See,
John, it's okay.
I'm trying to get my.
You're trying to
manlyhood
get
back,
your man
right.
card.
I would take
You
both of those.
lost it,
I would
so-
take both of those too.
See,
It's too late.
it's all right.
John, are you much of a reader?
No,
Okay.
Wait, that's not. I mean,
This next
I
question
used
might
to.
yeah. He'll still have an answer, and I'll still get it
I
right.
used to.
Ooh, all right.
So
A lot of confidence there,
yeah,
Molly.
I am.
Same shipwreck, same desert island. You may bring with you any single author's entire bibliography. Who is the author?
I guess it'd really be 2. Ernest Hemingway
Ooh.
and Stephen King's.
Oh, Stephen King. Right on.
Stephen King.
Boom. Molly.
I thought you were going to say Molly Gebler is your favorite author. Damn it. But I didn't.
That would be my second
I
favorite.
didn't
A lot
write
of
it down.
uncomfortable conversations on the way home, apparently.
We drove
God, we drove
separately.
separate.
John, what is the habit or routine that you do on a regular basis that has given you the most mileage?
I mean, my routine is I work. I mean, really, for the most part, that's it. And it's a shame.
It's not true that you do something every day.
Shower.
Yeah,
You do get a lot of mileage for that.
that's all right. I'll share it.
Go ahead.
Praying,
I do.
but I didn't get that one right.
Even with my short trip to work now, I don't listen to the radio in the car because that gives me my solitude too.
Yeah.
And all it is just to really thank God for what I have. And
Got $100 coming to you, Valley Art Center, and 120.
All right. John, what if you could interview any person who ever lived? Who would it be? Molly, did you write this down yet?
Mm-hmm.
It would be 3. It would be
John, you're not following instructions very well.
Well, it would be. I don't know who I would take the 3. It would be Jesus.
Jesus.
It would be my father. Just to spend a day with him. Just now that I'm old and
How old were you when he passed?
12. I mean,
How old was he?
42.
What did he die of?
Heart attack. He was vice president of marketing for Hal Bell. He was one of the masterminds of Ameritech, and just he was a workaholic. And if he wasn't working, he was drinking. If he wasn't drinking alcohol, he was drinking iced tea. I mean, I was smoking 2 packs a day. It was just, and then the third would be probably Woody Hayes.
Ooh. You ready for the final lightning round?
I think
I didn't write this one down.
You did not?
how many are you right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 8.
Nice job, Molly.
Thank you.
You know your husband.
Thank you.
What
Please
is?
don't
And
ask
really,
that
the Neil
question already.
Diamond, Barry Manilow, and the praying, if he really would have thought through, they were correct. He just didn't say them.
I really want to
I
ask
do.
the. Okay.
I do.
Wait. So, are you writing this last one down?
I don't. I
You got to take a guess. At least take a guess.
Like,
What do you think he's going to say?
I can't even think of one. That's the problem.
Wouldn't it be funny if he answers it and you don't know that it ever
That's
happened?
what we want.
It is what we want. This could be. All right, John, you ready?
Yeah, just go with it because I don't have it written down.
If John follows the instructions, you couldn't possibly write it down because you wouldn't know it.
True.
John,
But he hasn't followed them yet.
this is Molly's last day as a permanent host of this podcast. And so this could be a first on Molly's last. What is, because I don't think anyone has ever gotten the bonus points on this. I'm actually a little nervous. I don't know if I want John to get this
I'm
one.
kind of nervous myself.
He'll be fine.
All right, here the question is, what is an embarrassing thing about yourself that very few people know? And for bonus points that no one has ever gotten, that no one else knows, including Molly Gebler.
Well, I would eliminate the skinny dipping in Mirror Lake.
Because Molly was there.
Oh, wait. I have one.
That only Molly knows.
Or no,
No.
or that but the bonus points is that not even Molly knows.
Oh,
But that's extra credit, and no one ever gets the extra credit.
no.
So don't feel.
No, Molly would know.
Yeah,
We weren't married. We were just dating. I don't think we were engaged.
Damn. So far, it's not going good for me.
Where we were at Updike's wedding, and you were driving me home, and you pulled off on the side of the road, and a cop pulls behind us as I'm in the woods. And then you
went to the woods.
Then he took me. Actually, I didn't even get to the woods. Then he took me to my apartment, and then I rolled up in my. The only thing that was in my apartment at the time was my throw rug, and that's how I slept.
You rolled up into the throw
I
rug.
vaguely remember the police officer.
Because I was leaning out. I was outside the car puking, and a police car pulls up right behind her.
No, I wrote down the captain's stance.
Let's hear it.
Oh my God!
What's the captain's stance?
We left our.
It's so
own,
funny because we don't drink, but every
not.
story you have mentioned, you are a raging alcoholic.
Again, John, your stock with me has skyrocketed in the last 60 minutes.
We left our own party. Friends showed up, and they were going to Molly's friend's house, and we said, "Well, this party sucks, so let's
Our own party.
So we went to this party, and we were doing Captain Morgan's, and I decided to do I think I was the Captain Morgan's pose, and I lost my balance and took down a shelf and put my ass through the wall. And Tom said when he finally sold the house, there was still the hole in the wall. And then I knew it was time for me to go. So I started walking back, and it was miles back to our house. and I was trying to convince the Wycliffe police to take me home. And when they wouldn't, I was trying to convince them to arrest me so I could at least get home from the police station. And then they came and found me and picked me up. And
it all was because of the captain pose?
Oh, yeah.
That's outstanding.
It was a rough night.
I know exactly what that pose is, too.
Yeah, everybody does.
Did anyone take a picture of it?
No.
No, but my ass print was in their wall forever.
Tom and I have been besties since kindergarten. So it was their house, and he still talks about that. Yeah.
Or I guess there was the time.
Oh, let's keep going.
Bring it on, John. We got time.
I guess there was a time that we went to some bar in, it was called Cleveland PM in Cleveland Heights. And there was like 3 stories. And a Roberos was there. And I was on the floor dancing. And
who?
A Roberos.
It's a reggae band.
And I was on the floor dancing. And I thought I was a pretty good dancer. And all my friends were like on the stories up watching down, and I had like a 10-foot buffer of everybody that was crammed against the side of the dance floor, except for me, because I was this big freaking lug that was just bumping and pushing, and it was not
See,
really good.
Those are extra points. I don't know that story.
Yeah, I just got done talking to somebody about how grateful I am that they didn't have social media and camera phones back in the day.
God.
I mean, could you imagine, John?
No.
That would be class. And you're married to Molly, so she'd have it all over the place.
So it was swimming in Mirror Lake, which was the tradition.
We're still going.
But the tradition was you skinny dipped in Mirror Lake for the Michigan game.
For those of our listeners who don't know what Mirror Lake is.
Oh, it was the lake in Ohio Stadium.
I thought you were going to say for those who don't
in Ohio State.
I thought you were going to say for those who don't know what skinny dipping is.
Well,
let me explain it to you.
Could be that too.
Well, but then I couldn't find my clothes, so I literally had to walk through campus and back to my apartment with nothing.
Is that right?
Oh yeah,
not a stitch.
About a half a mile.
You didn't get arrested?
Oh no,
for indecent.
There's
another.
You got an award.
There's another story I didn't know. So extra points.
I'm telling you, lots of extra. Well, yeah, there's a lot of bonus points there. This has been a really epic conclusion to this exciting.
I just
episode.
wanted the.
He just wants to bring it off.
The Valley Arts Center to get their $100.
Yeah.
And we might even throw in an extra 20 on that one. Kids, this has been awesome. John, again. Your stock has skyrocketed.
I don't talk much about myself, but this has been fun.
Yeah,
man.
well, yeah. Thank you for your time. I declare, Molly, this episode of Best Podcast Ever a total success. I will be sad that the next time we have one, you will not be in that chair, but I might hold it open. I might hold it just in case you come back, just in case you show up.
He's not really sad, trust me.
No, I am.
I don't think it's her last, though.
Oh, I honestly hope it's not. Kids, if you are listening this far, well, both of you guys are in the room.
Wake up.
It means you're Emily and you're Sam, and you're both disgusted.
And Papa G.
And Papa G.
Sam and Emily have turned this off a long time ago.
And you're Paul Marnichek.
Those were those younger years.
Man, oh, wait, hold on. I didn't finish my spiel.
Okay.
If you are listening this far and you are not one of the people in this room, then I would be grateful to you if you went to the Apple Store or iTunes app or whatever app you were listening to us on and left a nice little review for us because it matters.
Or say goodbye to me.
Yeah, definitely you're going to want to say goodbye. And Molly, let me say goodbye because I love you to tears, to death, from the bottom of my heart. I will miss you, and I love you, and
love you too.
This has been such a great journey with you, and
it's been fun.
It's
been fun.
Please come back.
I
Please
might
do.
make a visit every once
promise
in a while.
right now. Promise to the world that you'll come back.
I will come back.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. And
for a visit.
Who would be your host if you came back?
My guest or my host?
Oh, your guest. I'm sorry.
Michael Stanley. I'll come back from Michael Stanley.
Done deal.
Wow.
Done deal. Yeah. He's agreed to come.
Well, he's on the island with me, so
all right.
I don't know if I'll be able to make that happen.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll figure it out. We'll have our people call your guys' people.
I don't have it. She's my people.
Anything you guys are working on that you'd like to get out to the universe before we sign off?
What do you got? Come visit John at Highway.
Come visit me at Highway. I am a very proud husband of Molly Gebler.
And you are proud father.
Alex Gertzberg.
Yeah.
And no, I'm hopefully they are still proud if they listen to this.
I would say even prouder. Molly, anything you'd like to get out to the universe?
Just bye to all the listeners, and I'm sure Alex will continue on and continue listening, and you will see me in other venues, other avenues.
Folks, I mean it, Molly. I love you to death. We will miss you, and thank you for being a part of my journey.
And John and Nellie, I love you both.
Yeah. Folks, we will see you next time. Thank you.
See y'all. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we thank you for listening. And remember to check out the Gertzberg Law Firm. Whether you are starting, running, growing, or transitioning a business, or if you need to create or update your wills, trust, or estate plan, our team will give you an incredible level of personalized attention and a passionate commitment to meet your objectives. We are veteran-owned, and our award-winning lawyers have the highest ranking from Super Lawyers and Avo. We have also recently received the coveted Weatherhead 100 Upstarts Award for a second year in a row, and we are among the first Ohio business law firms to offer our clients a non-billable alternative on every single matter we handle for them, and opt out of the billable hour. What we are most proud of, though, are the many things our clients rely on us for. We successfully defend them in court, but we also help them avoid the courtroom with our Cover My Six service. We protect their assets through good estate and succession planning, and we assist our clients in many non-legal business services like recruiting and business development. We want our clients to feel confident in their choices and to help them resolve any issues or potential problems quickly and efficiently so they can get back to what they love, running their businesses. More than just litigators, we are trusted advisors, problem solvers, and growers of businesses. Let us help you and your company. Call us or find us online to learn more. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time.